So, Paul Andrew from SOS Radio, here with Tony Reilly, one of our regulars and one of Steve Losh's personal training clients. So, Tony, I'd like you to, have you ever played the 60-second game?
Yeah, I have once, yeah.
You have once?
Yeah.
I know you have, because I've interviewed you before. Yeah. But now we're going to give it a little different flavour. What I'd like you to do is introduce your fitness journey in 60 seconds. I'd like you to include the following 3 things. Where you started when you left school, your low points, your high points, and where you are now, all in 60 seconds.
Okay, nice and easy. 16, I was a really good footballer.
Cool.
Could have made it, but probably just wasn't good enough. Was pretty fit. 16, played at a really good level as well. Trained 3-4 times a week, played 3 times at the weekend, so football was my life at that time. Got into working environment, stayed playing football till I was about 21, 22 at a good level, and then it kind of all went wrong. Got a job, couldn't make training, so the fitness kind of went pretty quickly. I then joined a company called Weatherseal 18 and a half years ago, and then the fitness fell apart, and all I done was work. My lowest point was at 23 stone 3, which was just gorging food, and unbelievably I was still playing squash at the time, badly, but in 5-a-sides because I still loved playing football, but I was in a really, really bad way. I was 5XL, I couldn't buy suits, it was just embarrassing, constant. My high point, which I'm quite glad to say, is right now. Probably the fittest I've ever felt in my life just now. I've had a couple of ups and downs. I met some other personal trainers before. I had a guy that done a great job with me, Ricky Singh, who I worked. I moved house recently. I met Steve Losh and yourself, and I met SOS Fitness, and my entire life has changed in the last 8 weeks.
Fantastic. So at your 23 stone, how did you feel when you were 23 stone when you were that 5XL?
Embarrassed. I must admit, I actually sometimes still go through moments just now where I feel as bad as I did back then. You get to a point where you just don't notice it. And when I look at the pictures that I've got and I show other people the pictures, they can't remember it. My wife can't remember me being that bad. So it just gradually comes on and comes on and comes on. And I was showing my dad a picture I had, and even when I look at the picture, I think, I can't remember being that big. And then when you start to try and get a bit of fitness about you start getting disappointed that you're not going as further forward, but all you need to do is put a couple of pictures beside each other and see how far you've come on. I was excessively eating. I was eating fly eating, and before I would go home I would have something to eat. It was shocking. I was travelling constantly in my car, always eating, and I definitely had a food addiction at the time, and I don't even really remember it coming off as quick either. I don't remember suddenly losing 7 stone. So it's been an interesting journey along the way. And when I see heavy people, as I still feel heavy myself just now, but I know I'm a lot fitter than what I was, I feel for them because I know it must be tough. But I didn't notice it as much as what I should have noticed it.
Thanks for that, Tony. There's a couple of really great tips I flushed out from there. Before and after pictures. I mean, it works for some people, others find it a challenge and they just want to get rid of that old them. But what I have noticed in the top tip, you've got to remember your journey, because there's going to be times when it's tough, when it's raining and you think, I can't be arsed going to class.
Yeah.
But then when you have a look at that old you and how far you've come, it's like a massive boost of motivation.
Yeah, it happened this morning, probably about 6:45 with Steve, when I realised that I was doing some stuff that I was struggling with. Yeah, I realised I'd done so much stuff before this one exercise that I couldn't do 7 weeks ago. So I'm starting to learn that. I'm starting to learn that it's where did you come from. Forget, of course you want to get somewhere else, but I know I will never, ever, ever go back to what I was before. I've got too many good people around about me. I've got too much ambition and where I want to go just now to ever allow that to happen to me again. But I think it's a great tip. And for me, when I look at it, I almost think, I don't remember the journey of going from that to where I am today, but I've still got a long way to go, and I can't wait to see it in a couple of years' time and say, well, look what you eventually did achieve as well.
Yeah, sometimes it's about just turning up, eh?
Yeah.
So when you were at your unfittest, shall we say, at that 5XL, was there a turning point, a one moment when you thought, this has got to change?
Yeah, well, I'd lost probably a few stone at the time, but I could fluctuate a stone almost within a week at times. Just by I would gorge eat, and then I would say, right, I'm on a diet, and I would virtually eat nothing. So you can shift weight really quickly by not eating anything at all, which isn't right either. It's not the way to do it. So, but my daughter got married a few years ago, and that was it. I just learnt something that frequency times intensity equals goal. So I'd been going to the gym before even, but I wasn't doing anything. I can remember putting the treadmill on an incline and holding on to the bars and trying to climb it, which it just wasn't working. It wasn't doing anything for me. But I wasn't going to the gym enough, and when I did go to the gym, I wasn't intense enough. So somebody had taught me frequency times intensity equals goal, and my daughter was getting married, and I just didn't want to walk her down the aisle at 20 stone or 22 stone or whatever it ended up being. So I had a goal, and that probably about a year I shed 3 stone at that point, and I trained and I trained and I trained, and I trained myself at that point as well. It was just on my own. So I really didn't even know what I was doing, but I was frequent and I was intense, and it definitely worked.
So did you have any worries at that time? I know when I talk to some people, there's like almost a sticking point, and they think, oh, people will laugh at me. And I'm always surprised when people say, I can't go to a fitness class, I'm not fit enough to go. So I'm wondering if you had any of those thoughts, or back in the day.
Yeah, when I first came to the classes at SOS, I thought, I won't be able to do this, I don't know what level I'm at. I was worried about it as well, but you just said something earlier on, you need to show up. You need to get your trainers on and get your shorts on and get out there and do something. You don't get any fitter sitting on the couch. It's impossible. So you just need to go. And yeah, I did have the issues with that, and would I be fit enough? I still have that. Deep down, I always wanted to do a marathon, but deep down, I always knew I'd never do one. I thought there's no chance I'm ever going to do a marathon, because I'd never been able to run. I'd never done any running at all properly. I was always thought I was too heavy to run. I just didn't think you can really get moving. You don't see too many really big people out jogging on the streets. Hence the reason why a lot of people are quite fit, because they go jogging quite a lot. And Steve took me out running and just educated me really quickly to run at my own pace. I'm never going to be Mo Farah, I'm never going to beat him, so just get in the game and get running and get your heart monitor on and just listen to your body, listen to your breathing, and just look at your heart monitor. And that's what I done, and 3 weeks ago I ran 10 miles, and suddenly I'm saying to myself, I'm going to hammer a half marathon. I know I'm going to do that. I'm not going to win it, but I'm going to do a half marathon. I'll do one myself over the next few weeks, I know I will. And then suddenly I'm signed up with Steve for next year to do a full marathon, and I know I'm going to do it. So I went from never believing that I could do anything to knowing that I'm going to do something, and that's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. That's awesome. So what was the reality when you actually came to an SOS class? With those thoughts aside that you used to think, I'm not fit enough to do this, what was your experience of your first SOS class?
I wasn't the unfittest. That's my experience. So all the negative thoughts that I had were wrong. And what I loved about SOS, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. And Steve was the first class I went to, and you were the second class. And the camaraderie and the team spirit that had been created in there, it just wasn't me. I'm a bit of a loner, which is strange considering the job that I do and the amount of people that I surround myself with as well. But I quite like one-to-one, I quite like cracking on, I quite like getting fit myself. But I found myself at the end of this class almost in a ring of roses style, holding hands with another 15 people singing Happy Birthday to Steve, because the winners were the first ones sitting in a squat position singing a song. And I just can't believe that I ended up as motivated and as keen to win that race and get into that. But everybody was just outstanding. People were so welcome. There was a guy, Graham, there, who came straight over at me and said, look, we'll train together if you want. I just thought it was brilliant. I was amazed. And then I went into your classes and found exactly the same. I do find you quite intense, to be honest, Paul. You're wired to the moon, but your exercises are just awesome. And the shift that everybody can put their own shift in. So whatever your level is, you can do it at SOS. If you're not the fittest in the world, you can still do what you can do. You just need to do a bit less of the exercise. And I found myself really pushing myself in the sessions, and I thought it was outstanding.
So thanks for that. So there's a couple things I picked up from that. Yeah, the family bit and the fun. I mean, we call ourselves the 4F organisation. It's find yourself through fitness, food, family and fun. And the last F is absolutely pivotal. So for anyone that has got second thoughts, we like to use games, take you back to your childhood, because that's all fitness. You sometimes don't even realise you're getting fit.
Yeah.
And we absolutely cater for all levels. And the second point that you made about, everyone can put in their own shift, absolutely true. So everyone has 100% max, and our job is to get you there. But one person's 100% might not be as much as another.
Yeah.
But we know that everyone's going to give 100%. For some, it might be walking before they run, and that's what we absolutely encourage. Because fitness, there's never an end to it. It's a journey. And sometimes people think that's it, the half marathon's it, but then there's a full marathon. So sometimes you just need to stop, smell the roses, realise how far you've come, turn up to every session and enjoy every single one for what it is.
One of the biggest things that's impressed me about SOS is maybe the unfitter people who give it so much more than the fitter people. And I've seen a few people sneak in and taking a little break and cutting a little corner, but some of the people that are really trying their heart out in there are not the fittest people. And I found myself in that category quite a lot. They just give it everything you've got, whereas a lot of the super fit people like to take a few wee corners here or there. So I found SOS really good for unfit people.
So what would you say to people that are sat on their couch at the minute thinking, you know what, I really want to get fit. I can either go to the gym or I can play some sport. And with regards to SOS Fitness, what would you suggest to someone on the couch thinking, I want to do it, but...
Well, I sat on my own couch for a long time and never done anything as well. So I think working with Steve on a one-to-one basis, which is probably a bit more different than a lot of the SOS people, is that you've got to do something you like. I probably do 2 or 3 things with Steve that I absolutely hate, but an awful lot of the other stuff I'm really enjoying it. Whereas fitness before for me has been a ball ache, it's been hard work, it's been, oh no, I need to go. And that's not really, that it's hard to do it. I'm motivated to get out a run now. I'm motivated to go to the gym. I'm motivated to go to the squash and play. Steve's teaching me to play squash. I thought I was decent until I met him, but I'm absolutely loving it. And I think that's the difference for me, that you talk about fun element, I'm really enjoying it. I went to the boxing classes, they were awesome, they were just fantastic classes, really hard workouts as well. So what SOS has got is enough elements for you to be able to choose where you want to go and what you want to do, that you really enjoy it. And I think that's the difference, that whereas before people don't have enough variety and enough change, it's just the same old. If you're only ever going to go on a treadmill, you're probably going to give up eventually because it's just boring. I actually went on a treadmill last week and I lasted 3 minutes and I left the gym and I went out to run in the streets.
And presumably that's quite a big change for you.
Massive.
I'm impressed you lasted 3 minutes, because you know, this part of the world, there's such the landscape and the getting out in nature is just so important.
Yeah.
I mean, we spend our life under artificial light, so you know, getting outside, having some fun, a bit of fresh air is just so important for your health and fitness. So Tony, you've mentioned 2 Asians when you've commented. One was education and one was motivation. So how has the education been important to you or made a difference?
Number one, without a doubt, that education, and still being educated with new stuff just now from Steve as well, but that heart monitor thing was a big thing for me. And what I'm doing now is I'm learning by my mistakes. My body's telling me what I'm doing wrong. I went for a run last week, I didn't warm up properly, and I thought, right, I'm going to go out and do my fastest mile ever. And I went for it, and I can remember there was a bunch of guys in a motorbike standing outside Cameron House, and I sprinted by them as fast as I could do to do my first mile, and 1.2 mile into it, my hamstring went, and I had to walk back home by these bikers walking with a limp. And my body told me, don't be so stupid, stop trying to break that. You need to educate, you need to learn, you need to do it properly, you need to listen to your body. There's no point in me running like that. It's not going to do me any good. So it's all about the education. And I've never really been educated before when it came to this stuff. I understand it now. You gave me the nutrition stuff as well, and which was fantastic. And I've had lots of diets. I've been on every diet that you can get out there. And every diet probably works if you stick to them and do them properly. But your stuff was a little bit more lenient, a little bit more genuine, that there's a bit of lifestyle in it. It didn't really cut out everything. Whereas other stuff saying you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can do just about anything. As long as you're working and training hard enough, as long as you do stuff in moderation, I've found that that's been good too. But I've still got a long way to go with that.
Absolutely. So yeah, on the diets, the number one thing, you're absolutely right, all diets work, but where they don't is a thing called compliance. So they all work, and they all don't unless you can stick to it.
Yeah.
So the nutrition plan we advise is what's called flexible eating. So it's kind of, we suggest you eat more of this and a little bit less than that. And that way it's a lifestyle change. I know that's a little bit of a cliche, but suddenly you get this whole menu of things that you can eat and you're like, wowzers, that's just about everything I love, or there's certainly enough of that.
Yeah.
So I can let those things go. So yeah, compliance is number one. if you're not enjoying what you're eating, then you're not going to stick to it.
Yeah.
So the golden question for nutrition plans is, can I see myself eating like this in 6 months' time? And if that's a no, then don't start it. Don't start it, because, you know, obviously we encourage the 80-20. You go out for a meal, you're eating for a different strategy, you're eating to enjoy, but when you're eating for fitness, that should be a lifestyle. That should be something you can do every day and wake up and think, this is me. So that's really important.
Yeah.
So one top tip then for someone on their couch thinking, I want to join SOS Fitness. What would you say to our listeners at home?
Get off the couch.
Get off the couch.
SOS Fitness.
Join SOS Fitness.
It's the motivation. It's the starting with the why. Why do you want? A lot of people want to do it. A lot of people want to get fit, but you need to put that effort in. That 100% max that you said. If you're only going to come and do 20-30%, it probably won't work. Because you won't see the results either. I ended up doing double sessions, and I was in transit of moving down here, and Steve got me down to see him and yourself for double sessions. So I just never believed that I could do a double session. Steve done a 8-plate challenge for me, which was taking the plates to the length of the tennis court and taking them back again. And I genuinely thought I was going to burst out of my entire body. And I'd been training for 2 minutes 17 seconds. But I still managed to finish a 2-hour session. I'd done the rest of the hour session with him, then I'd done an hour session with you. So when your body tells you you've had enough, at times you've not even started yet. So you need to put the effort in, which might be the thing that stops people get off the couch in the first place, because they know that. But if you're going to get off the couch, you might as well get off the couch and put a shift in. If you're not going to do that, you probably won't see the results. And results are everything. That's what keeps you motivated when you start to see. I had to throw out a lot of really good suits that I had because it just didn't fit me. They're nowhere near it. So he's cost me quite a lot of money, Steve Losh, because I had to go and buy a lot of new suits. But that's results based. That's you starting to see. I'm looking forward to throwing these ones out as well.
So that's a really good problem to have, having to buy a new wardrobe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an expensive one, but yeah.
So that's our talent or anyone's talent as a trainer, to meet people where they are. Someone like yourself, Tony, is going to go that 100%, very competitive guy, very successful businessman, bit of an alpha male character. So Steve knows that, and we know that. But for the others that are on the couch thinking, you know, I just want to give 20-30% until I find my feet, and that's where we meet them as well. So that's where we've got the SOS Running Club. So, you know, we have people that come up and they walk, because every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and literally, metaphorically and literally, sometimes that's a walking club. And 30% soon becomes 100% when they get comfortable with it. And guys like you, Tony, straight in. You might come in 80% feeling round, but pretty soon you're going to be up to 100%. Yeah. And that's what we hope we encapsulate in SOS. So your 20-30%ers, more than welcome. Meet you where you are, pace and lead, take them where they need to go.
And I think what they'll find when they come is that they're more than welcome, they're more than catered for, and there's other people doing that. SOS is not a bunch of people. SOS Fitness really sounds quite aggressive, I think, and it sounds as if everybody's really fit, but it's not the case. It does cater for everyone, and that's what I'm saying, that when I see some of the unfitter people, they're very impressive for me. Whether they're doing 20%, 30%, 40%, they're all doing what they can do. And I think the first thing is get off the couch and get involved in something.
So what's next for Tony Reilly and your fitness journey?
Yeah, more education, more bare composites, the stuff that he's doing to me. I think if the police came round, they'd probably arrest him at times, but it's just more. You've got a camp going on this weekend that I'd love to have been coming on. I like the outdoor stuff. Suddenly had a nice swim in the lock at the weekend, a couple of nights ago, because he put me through a shift and a half and my bones were aching. I'm looking forward to getting involved in some of the outdoor activities that are out there as well. Our company's doing some corporate work with Steve and yourself, Paul, and we're going over to Cameron House, and then we're going over on to one of the islands, so everybody's excited about doing that. So just that variety, I'm enjoying the variety. I'll do a marathon next year, which I'm shocked at. I'd never believed that would happen, but I want to keep my fitness.
So I've got one more question for you, and it's a question that you're going to ask yourself, really. Thinking back to that 23 stone 5XL Tony of a few years ago, what's the one thing that Tony would say to the Tony Reilly today?
You're looking good, and I don't ever want to meet you again.
You are looking good, Tony, and I cannot wait to meet you again in the park really soon. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for the interview.
Cheers, Paul.
So listeners, viewers, if you're not already on our website, connect with us at SOS Fitness at www.sosfitness.co.uk. Like our Facebook page for top tips on fitness, health and all things lifestyle, and have a great day.